The Yellow Turban Rebellion was a major peasant uprising against the Han dynasty, led by Zhang Jue and his brothers. They capitalized on the widespread corruption, famine, and discontent towards the Han courts, but the rebellion was discovered early, which forced the rebels to launch prematurely. If the rebellion had proceeded as planned without an early discovery, it likely would have toppled the Han dynasty. The result would be an earlier warlord era with profound impacts on the culture and societal trajectory. While the Yellow Turban's populist ideal might inspire future movements, the immediate outcome would be deep instability that delays China's unification. In this timeline, one of the founders of the Way of Peace, Dang Zhou, is not excluded from later plans. He is intercepted by a loyal Yellow Turban spy before he betrays Ma Yuanyi and is brought back into the fold without reporting anything to the authorities. Without an early discovery at the capital, Ma completes his preparations in coordinating uprisings across 8 provinces, amassing greater numbers, better coordination, and more resources. Tens of thousands of peasants, disaffected soldiers, and even local elites are mobilized for the planned march in 184. Some Yellow Turbans like Bo Tai or Zhang Niuzhui were likely minor Han officers or local strongmen who defected to the rebellion, while sympathizers such as Gan Ning recruited disaffected Han soldiers to form local militias. Simultaneous rebellions rise up across northern and central China, targeting key cities like Luoyang and the important regional granaries. Their slogan, "The blue heaven is dead, the yellow heaven shall rise," galvanizes massive peasant support from within the major cities. At the same time, the disgruntled Xiongnu provide cavalry support from the northern borders to assist the Han. The relentless conscription of their tribes to do the Han's bidding created great resentment towards their own Chanyu leaders. In this timeline, Yu Fuluo pleases his people by making a deal with Zhang Jue, who displays much greater care towards the Xiongnu tribes. They ally themselves with the Yellow Turbans, who allow them to continue practicing their shamanistic rituals within the Taiping movement. The Han dynasty remains plagued by internal issues, corrupt eunuchs, and factionalism between scholar officials and an ineffective emperor. The court's response is made more difficult due to the scattered uprisings, while eunuch factions withhold information to protect their own power. Caught off guard, they struggle to mobilize Huang Fusong and Zhu Jun as effectively. The reliance on other generals like Dong Zhuo, Cao Cao, and Sun Jian is also slower, as they lack the immediate incentive to act without a clear imperial mandate. In spring of 184, during the planned Jiazi year, Zhang Jue rallies 50,000 peasants from Julu and marches them in basic formations towards the Han capital. Ma Yuanyi still operates from within the city. By now, he's already secured the palace maps and troop schedules, identified disloyal palace guards, and bribed any willing merchants to aid the Taiping movement. Zhang Liang has also arrived at the city, with thousands of fighters disguised as refugees. He leads them to disrupt the city's water and food supplies in secret. Rumours and omens spread throughout Luoyang as the starving populace turn away from Emperor Ling's mandate. By the planned uprising date of March 5th, the Yellow Turbans have a coordinated force outside, insider support, and a primed city ready for a multi-pronged assault. Ma Yuanyi's eunuch allies bribe or assassinate gate commanders at Luoyang's Yongmen Gate, opening it at night. Historically, Zhu Jun is delayed in Runan until mid-184, and here he still fights battles against Bo Tai with Huang Fusong, and Cao Cao if he arrives on time. This ensures no immediate counterattack at Luoyang, and by dawn, the Yellow Turbans control 2 major gates, while the city's defences are still unaware of the full assault. When Zhang Jue arrives with his 50,000, he quickly storms the city, first securing the arsenal and granaries in order to distribute the supplies to the starving civilians. When he enters the palace hall, Ma Yuanyi is already waiting for him, with a retinue of guards, eunuch allies, and the captured emperor. The Yellow Turban's core mission was to replace the Han with a Yellow Heaven. Zhang Jue declares himself as the new Son of Heaven, aligning himself with this apocalyptic mandate. A ritual takes place at Luoyang's altar, proclaiming the Yellow Heaven's arrival, which establishes the Taiping dynasty under Zhang Jue. Following this, Emperor Ling is stripped of his mandate after he confesses to Han corruption in a public tribunal. He is allowed to live as a commoner in demonstration of Taiping justice, but he eventually leaves the city. His sons, Liu Bian and Liu Shi, are taken in by Zhang Jue, who acts as a regent or great teacher over them. The Yellow Turbans attacked at a peak strength of 100,000 fighters from Ji, Qing and Shu. Without any prior warning, many Han garrisons are overwhelmed, with major cities like Yi and Shu falling to the rebels, granting them access to supplies and legitimacy as a rival government. With so many important initial victories, the Yellow Turbans inspire even more uprisings. Disaffected groups like the Xiang and southern minorities also join in or launch parallel revolts, stretching the Han forces even thinner. The loss of the Han capital shatters the dynasty's morale and legitimacy, while accelerating fragmentation among the regional warlords. Figures like Dong Zhuo and Yuan Shao seize power in their own regions sooner, rather than fight for a lost cause, marking an earlier start to the warlord era, while Emperor Ling's whereabouts still remains a mystery. Zhang Zhui establishes a theocratic state based on Taiping ideals before the Zhang brothers penned the New Code of the Celestial Masters, emphasizing state-sponsored rituals and Taoist cosmology. They propagate immortality, meditation, and divine revelations, drawing on the Tao Te Ching and alchemical traditions to claim authority over the Han. Zhang Zhui's anti-elite policies disrupt the old order, empowering peasants while slowing the consolidation of Confucianism. Warlords like Cao Cao, Liu Bei, and Sun Jian established independent states earlier, but alliances are harder for them to form, while religious movements such as the Five Pecks of Rice sect receive more direct manpower support. Under the cosmic mandate of the Yellow Heaven, Zhang Zhui preaches to his Taiping sect. Taoist heavenly rights are hereby granted for everybody, at the birth of a coming transformation, a dawn of a new age. His new policies promote moral purity and communal harmony. Land and wealth is redistributed among the peasantry to encourage loyal followers, while talismans and sacrifices are introduced into state ceremonies. Zhang Zhui further claims divine revelations and prophecies from the legendary Lao Zi and aligns himself with Taoist lineage to legitimize his title. In establishing a Taoist theocracy, the priest class is promoted to act as the court's officials. They act as both spiritual and civic leaders, with the responsibility to manage communities. They organize militias, collect taxes and donations in either rice or in goods. The Taiping regime attempts to govern but faces significant hurdles, as the movement's religious zeal and lack of experienced administrators leads to many internal disputes and ineffective rule. Internally, food supplies for the peasant army depletes, while externally, counterattacks or nomadic invasions are a constant threat. Depending on how the Liang Province rebellion reacts to Zhang Zhui's success greatly affects his timeline. If Beigong Boyu and Li Wenhu's forces, numbering tens of thousands, move towards Chang'an, then the new key Taiping stronghold comes under threat. The historic embezzlement by Liang's inspector Zhuo Chang suggests local corruption persists, further complicating Zhang Zhui's efforts to stabilize the region or create alliances. If the rebels besiege Chang'an in winter of 184, as they did historically, then Zhang Zhui would need to divert troops away from Liuyang or Yi, which would weaken their overall defense. Historically, the Liang Province rebellion initially aided the Yellow Turbans by weakening the Han's resources, but they persist in this timeline as an even stronger foe. In 186, Zhang Zhui summons Zhang Lu to Chang'an, the new capital of the Yellow Turban warlord state. Everyone present is adorned in yellow robes, as a grand ceremony is held at a Taoist high temple. Zhang Lu kneels before the new celestial masters, accepting their authority, as he's gifted a jade seal inscribed with the title Celestial Emissary. He devotes resources to Zhang Zhui's cause, greatly assisting the Yellow Turbans with agriculture and supplies from Hanzhong. His Five Pecks of Rice sect acts as a great agricultural boom for the Yellow Turbans, who become dependent on Hanzhong's supply. Lord General of the Earth and High Priest of Taiping, Zhang Bao, is second in command. He oversees military campaigns and religious rituals in the regime, spreading Taoist teachings and coordinating regional defences from Ji Province. Lord General of the People and Grand Administrator of Welfare, Zhang Liang, is third in command. He manages communal relations and peasant mobilization, ensuring food distribution and unity across all territories. He holds a great responsibility in forming positive relations with the Liang Province rebels. Ma Yuanyi organizes covert operations and court alliances. He utilizes espionage from Chang'an to enforce loyalty, disrupt rivals, and assist Zhang Liang. Zhang Mancheng is granted governorship over Nanyang, where he leads local militias and conducts rituals to maintain peasant support. The southern territories remain provisioned and defensible due to the defender of Wenchang and regional marshal Zhao Hong's command. He holds authority over Commander Han Zhong, who rallies local forces and manages the supply chains.
Field Marshal of Yingchuan, Bo Tai, commands mobile forces around his domain, suppressing dissent while raiding Han loyalists. Governor of Bogu, Guo Da, governs the northern Daiyuan and Heidong commanderies. By rallying Yellow Turban remnants and coordinating with the Xiongnu, he helps keep the borders open for both factions. Regional Governor of Yi, Ma Xiang, spreads Taiping teachings throughout the province, organizing peasant militias and establishing Taoist communes. Xiaoxi assists him as a deputy leader in managing community welfare in Yi. Commander over Ji, Zhang Rao leads guerrilla campaigns in the province, disrupting Han supply lines and expanding Taiping influence by appealing to the neighbouring citizens. In Shu province, Guo Tai commands a unit made up of the men that historically became known as the White Wave Bandits. In this timeline, they operate under siege commander of Shu province, Guan Hai's overall authority. They secure rivers and coastal regions for the Taiping sect while fighting against the Han's navy. Nearby, Han Xian leverages his bandit ties to negotiate alliances with various remnant forces. Back in Chang'an's palace, Zhuo Ci meets Zhang Jue. The great sages each present visions of a Taoist utopia, discussing governance in accordance with the Tao. On one occasion, within the spirited halls of Chang'an, Zhuo Ci advises Zhang Jue to turn temples into administrative hubs to recruit local elites and collect donations. Meanwhile, a young Taoist adept and alchemist from Wu is drawn to Luoyang after its fall. He's fascinated by the Yellow Turban's Taiping scriptures, which echo his Lingbao studies. His family's prominence and Taoist interests make him a suitable priest for one of Zhang Jue's temples, so Ji Xuan is welcomed in warmly and recruited. When he encounters the legendary Zhuo Ci, Ji Xuan obtained the mythological scriptures, the Immortals Book of Liquefied Gold of the 9 Elixirs. In this timeline, they study many mythological books of Zhang Jue, such as the 36 volumes of Numinous Treasure. As such, many peasants begin fasting and follow the commands laid down by the ultimates. Despite initial successes and massive peasant support which provided momentum, the Taiping's structural flaws ensure its collapse by the early 190s. While the Yellow Turban's policies do empower the many peasant communities, the gains are reversed without any sustainable governance. Its Taoist model lacks skilled administrators or a centralized government because of its anti-elite ideology, which alienates the Han scholars. They historically struggle to administer captured territories with their peasant leaders. Even Zhang Lu's model in Hanzhong, Libationer-led parishes, could not match the efficiency of Confucian administration. The Taiping sect also relies too much on peasant militias, which falter against any professional army. The historical defeat of Yellow Turbans by Huangfu Song's smaller force confirms they could not match the advanced weaponry, discipline, and cavalry of the Han scholars. Yuan Shao, Cao Tao, and Sun Jian command elite troops who could exploit the Taiping's numerical advantage, not to mention the Liang province rebels. Called upon by the Taiping prophecy, the way of peace guided Zhang Jue to Luoyang under the Yellow Heaven. The emperor was overthrown and replaced, but criminals and commoners are no match for Confucian scholars, rallied rebels, nor the warlord armies of a shattered Han.